Ozempic has become a buzzword, praised for helping with type 2 diabetes and even rapid weight loss. But before jumping on the bandwagon, there are a few critical things you need to know. Because while Ozempic can be life-changing for some, it's not for everyone. Let's break it down, starting with the basics. Ozempic is the brand name for semaglutide, a once-weekly injectable medication originally approved to help manage blood sugar in adults with type 2 diabetes. It belongs to a class of drugs called GLP-1 receptor agonists, which work by mimicking a hormone in your body that helps regulate blood sugar, slow digestion, and curb appetite. It's not insulin, but it affects how your pancreas releases insulin and how your stomach empties after meals. This is what makes it helpful for both blood sugar control and weight loss. Ozempic is FDA approved for people with type 2 diabetes, not type 1. And while it's gained attention for weight loss, it's not meant to be a casual quick fix, especially if you don't have diabetes. Here's where things get serious. Ozempic is powerful, but it comes with important risks and precautions. Off-label use is growing, but that doesn't mean it's safe for everyone. People with certain medical histories may face higher risks of side effects, so it's important to talk openly with your doctor. If you've ever had pancreatitis, thyroid problems, or kidney issues, be sure to bring those up. Your full health picture matters before starting a medication like this. Nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and constipation are some of the most common side effects, especially in the beginning. That's because Ozempic slows down how quickly your stomach empties. It helps you feel full longer, which is part of how it works, but it also changes how food moves through your digestive system. For some people, these symptoms fade after a few weeks. But for others, they can stick around and really affect daily life. Eating smaller meals, chewing slowly, and avoiding greasy or heavy foods can make things easier. But just know that the adjustment phase can be a bit rough at first. As we've mentioned earlier, Ozempic belongs to a class of drugs called GLP-1 receptor agonists. And while they're generally considered safe, there have been clinical reports and studies linking them to acute pancreatitis, a sudden painful inflammation of the pancreas. A major study published in JAMA Internal Medicine in 2016 found that these medications were associated with an increased risk of hospitalization for pancreatitis, especially within the first few months of use in people with type 2 diabetes. Though rare, it's a serious side effect that can't be ignored. Watch out for red flags like persistent upper abdominal pain, nausea, or vomiting, especially if the pain radiates to your back. If these symptoms show up, don't wait it out. Seek medical attention immediately. And if you've had pancreatitis before, be sure to tell your doctor. You could be at higher risk and they might recommend a different approach. Some people taking Ozempic have experienced gallbladder issues, including gallstones and gallbladder inflammation. In fact, the FDA label for Ozempic lists gallbladder disease as a potential adverse reaction. And several clinical trials have noted a higher incidence of gallbladder-related side effects in people using GLP-1 receptor agonists like semaglutide. While it doesn't happen to everyone, it's something to keep on your radar, especially if you start feeling pain in the upper right side of your abdomen, get nauseous after eating fatty foods, or notice an unexplained fever. If you've had gallstones before, or they run in your family, this is definitely worth bringing up with your doctor before starting the medication. Catching issues early can help you avoid complications down the road. Losing weight might sound like a win, but how you lose it matters. With medications like Ozempic, some people experience rapid weight loss, and unfortunately that can mean losing muscle, not just fat. And that's a problem, because muscle isn't just about strength. It's key for keeping your metabolism healthy, your balance steady, and your energy up. If you're on Ozempic and the numbers on the scale are dropping, it's important to protect your muscle. That means eating enough protein and doing strength-based exercise like resistance bands or light weights. You're not just aiming for a smaller body, you want a stronger, healthier one too. Ozempic can do a lot. It can help curb your appetite, lower blood sugar, and support weight loss. But it's not a cure, and it's definitely not magic. It works best when it's part of a bigger picture that includes balanced eating, regular movement, stress management, and good sleep. Also keep in mind, if you stop taking Ozempic, those benefits, like reduced appetite or weight loss, may not stick around. For many people, the weight can come back once the medication wears off. That's why it's so important to see Ozempic as a support tool, not the whole solution. Real, lasting change still comes from building healthy habits. Ozempic slows down how quickly food and medications move through your stomach. That means it can interfere with how certain drugs are absorbed, especially if they depend on precise timing to work properly. If you're taking medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, thyroid issues, or anything else, your doctor may need to adjust the dose or timing. Also, if you're on insulin or other diabetes medications, combining them with Ozempic can increase your risk of hypoglycemia or a dangerously low blood sugar. That can lead to symptoms like dizziness, confusion, sweating, or even fainting. Always make sure your healthcare provider has a full picture of your prescriptions so they can help you stay safe. Ozempic may seem like the latest breakthrough, but it's still relatively new, and that means we don't yet have a full picture of its long-term safety, especially for people using it primarily for weight loss rather than diabetes. The early research looks promising, but more studies are needed to understand what happens when people use it for years. One area of concern is the potential risk of thyroid tumours. In animal studies, drugs like Ozempic have been linked to an increased risk of medullary thyroid carcinoma. Because of this, the medication comes with an FDA black box warning, the strongest warning label given to a drug. If you or someone in your family has a history of medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, it's extremely important to discuss these risks with your doctor before starting Ozempic. One of the biggest surprises for people who stop taking Ozempic: the weight often comes back, and fast. That's because the medication helps suppress your appetite, and once it's out of your system, hunger tends to return. In fact, some studies have found that people regain up to 2/3 of the weight they initially lost after stopping Ozempic. So if you're thinking about trying it, it's important to also think long-term. Will you stay on it for months or even years? What's your plan once you stop? It's not just about losing weight, it's about building sustainable habits that help you maintain it when the medication ends. Without a strong follow-up plan, rebound weight gain is very likely. Let's talk about cost, because Ozempic isn't cheap. Depending on where you live and what your insurance covers, it can run hundreds of dollars per month. And if you're using it off-label for weight loss, meaning you don't have type 2 diabetes, your insurance may not cover it at all. That puts the full financial burden on you. On top of that, because of how popular it's become, supply shortages have been a real issue in some areas. So even if you can afford it, it might not always be available when you need it. Before starting, think about the big picture. Is this something you can realistically stick with long term? Are there other tools like nutrition, movement, or coaching that could support your goals at a lower cost? These are important conversations to have with your healthcare provider so you're not caught off guard later. In the end, Ozempic isn't just about numbers on a scale or lab results. It's about your overall health and quality of life. Used the right way, with the right support, it can be part of a bigger plan to feel better and live better. If this video gave you new insights, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on the bell so you never miss one of our health explainers. Have questions or a story to share? Drop it in the comments, we'd love to hear from you. Want to support our channel? Hit the super thanks button. Thanks for watching. Stay informed, take care of your body, and we'll see you in the next one.